to go ahead and get started. Welcome to this week's CybHER Conversation. My name is Katie Shuck, and I am CybHER's Chief of Strategy. We also have with us today Kanthi Narakonda, as she is with us each week as CybHER's Chief of Operations. We have both of CybHER's founders, Dr. Ashley Podorotsky and Dr. Pam Rowland, who are out of Dakota State University. And we are so glad to have you joining this Dakota State University CybHER Conversation brought to you by Peraton. So we are thrilled, especially with our speaker that we have this week, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about her in just a second. But if you have any questions at all during the conversation, you can ask them via the Q&A that you will find at the bottom of the screen. And we'll get to those during the Q&A portion. Just a reminder, CybHER is an organization out of Dakota State University in Madison, South Dakota. Our mission is to encourage, empower, and motivate girls in cybersecurity. We work with all students though, so we are thrilled to have you. And this week especially, we're thrilled to introduce you to Carmen Marsh, who is the CEO and managing partner of Inteligenca, where she works in cyber risk management, audit, and compliance. She's also the founder of the Cybersecurity Women of the Year Awards. So we are thrilled to have you here. I think one of the neatest things that I found was she went to a university in Sweden too. So that was just fascinating for me, since we have not had anyone who's been in Europe yet on the program. So welcome, Carmen. I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thank you so much, Katie, and I'm so glad to be here. I was told that I could talk about anything, and since you brought it up, yes, I was born in Sweden. I'm the first generation of, I guess I'm a first generation of immigrants, right? So was born there. My whole family, my mom, my sister, my nieces, everyone is still there. I'm the only one here. I made California my home in 1993, so it's been a little ways back. I went to University of Davis in Davis. That's how, that was my first, it was an international program that I joined in 1993, and that's how I met my husband. So fast forward, we've got 3 grown-up boys, and yeah, life is good. We're still loving California, not planning on leaving anytime soon. But I think more important is I want to tell you a little bit about how I got into technology. I've been in technology for over 20 years. And I think one of the really important things to mention is that I did not start in technology. I have a degree in business, and I thought I was going to continue and go into management, and really that was sort of my path as I was envisioning my future. However, when my husband and I moved to San Jose in California, there was so much at that time about, learn computers, the networking was kind of new. It was all about like computers, you need to know, these are your skills you need to know. Thinking back, I was always one of those people that wanted to know how things work. So I was fascinated with computers. I said, okay, I want to know everything. I want to know how to break them down. I want to know how to put them back together, how to make them work, how to network them. I just want to know all of that. So forget about my business background. I just got attracted to the technical stuff and signed up for classes in San Jose and said, I'm going to figure this out. And that's how my job in technology started. After I completed those courses, I decided to apply for a few jobs in Bay Area, and got a job with Sony in San Jose. Loved the job. It wasn't as technical as I wanted it to be, but it just gave me additional experience that I needed to even more technical jobs. So when I look at my career, I really have done just about every technical job that's out there. So I started as a tech support. I worked for help desk. I was a systems engineer. I was the security engineer. I was administrator of networks. I really just build the networks from the backbone of the network and from the bottom up. So yeah, all of these jobs actually have helped me move forward in my career. As I started, with every job, you learn something. So I think it's really important that you do give yourself an opportunity to learn everything possible. Don't try to jump from here to here. I mean, do learn from different jobs, absorb as much as you can. And when you feel like you are good at something, and you know it well, move on to the next. That's the big thing for technology. You have to get the newest knowledge and the newest tools. That you have to keep it up, right? So one of the interesting thing that I wanted to mention is how I started in cybersecurity is really wasn't that I apply for a job. At that time, we called information security only. That wasn't really cybersecurity. That's sort of a newer term. So yeah, I was working as a tech support at Stanford Research Institute in Menlo Park. And we had all these guys from information security coming, getting their computer fixed. So, so I would talk to them daily and they would tell me, this is what we do in this kind of projects we're working on and this and that. And it really captured my interest. So I wanted to know, how do I get in this job? I've got a technical skills. I know really well how the networks work. I knew how computers work, right? So how do I get then to the next step? So I did apply for information security engineering job at the same company, got a job. But the funny thing was, I was the only woman of 200 InfoSec engineers. So talk about the gender diversity. There was none. That was really none. And I can't really say that it made me feel uncomfortable because I was already in tech world, right? I was already in technology, and there's already a lot of men working in jobs around me. So it wasn't a new thing to me. But at the same time, I was wondering why aren't other women interested? I love just about every part of my job. But the big thing what I was going to mention is that it's super important to have those allies. It's super important to have a support and mentors. And I had wonderful mentors. They were guys. They were guys. And I know a lot of times we say, oh, guys are just so not helpful to women in technology, right? But I did have some really great mentors. And I think that actually helped me continue in cybersecurity. Because if I had a bad experience right off the bat, I would probably say, you know what, I just, I like my job, but all these guys around me, they're just terrible. They don't treat me well. They don't respect me. They don't, I'm not learning from them. It's not what I want to do, right? So I'm just kind of emphasizing this because it is important to have those, the allies, the supporters, have that community especially when you're first in the job. It could be cybersecurity, it could be any tech job. I think it's just one of those things that we have to help support each other and learn from each other. And if you have that good work culture and community, it makes a big difference. And the reason why I'm saying that too is because we see not only that there's not enough girls and women that are not interested, but they are not getting into cybersecurity fields, but we have women that are leaving, and that's so we need to plug that hole too. It's great to build a pipeline, but at the same time, we also need to plug the hole so we don't lose women. And there's a lot of things we could be doing. So one of the things anyway, fast forward. So I'm going to finish with my first topic. I've gone through, starting as a practitioner, got into management, got into executive management, and now I own this is my second technology company. I have a wonderful partner. Her and I have a very similar experience. I have a little more on cybersecurity. She has a little more on software development side. So what we do is we help small, mid-sized businesses because we realize there's a need. there's a need to serve them as well. There's a lot of, corporations, they have money, they can hire people, they're in a completely different situation, but small and mid-sized businesses, they need to be secure and safe as well. So what do we do? And they don't have as much money to acquire expensive software or even hire a team that would secure their networks and their computers, protect their data. So this is why we started our business. And as we were hiring people for our positions, open positions, we realized we only got men's resumes. So that was one of those things that really, what I was getting at, why we started the 100 Women in 100 Days Cybersecurity Career Accelerator. There wasn't enough, there's not enough people with skills in cybersecurity in general. As you know, I mean, that's no news. We have a lack of talent as it is now. There's a lot of open jobs. But if you look at the number of women that actually work in cybersecurity, it's very sad. So, and that we had our proof, because we would post our open positions and it was all men. I mean, if there was maybe once in a while we would see, a resume from a woman. So it was very disheartening. And at some point I just said, okay, we've been talking about the gender gap. We've been talking about the gap of skilled talent in cybersecurity, but we've got to take some action. I just don't see any action. There's all these conferences out there and they're all the same. We all talk about the same issue. We're having the same issue, but where are the solutions? I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? So I decided to actually bust the myth too. There was a myth out there that a lot of times I would get questions from people at conferences asking me, well, why are you trying so hard? Why are you trying to get women into cybersecurity? So, I mean, what is it? They're just not interested. And I said, I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second, and because I know if women knew enough about it and what it's like to work in cybersecurity, they would be more interested. So we're not talking enough about what it's like to work in cybersecurity. What are the opportunities? The knowledge and awareness is one thing, but really, I mean, we don't have enough of those type of programs that would serve specifically to women. Because I don't know if I should just open that topic up, but we have the data now. The women actually score better on exams when they are in the groups of other women. They're much better, even in the projects, in the computer science classes. They've done the study, right? That when you have women in the same group with men, and they have to do the coding project, they do 30% less. They score 30% less than what they do when they're in a group of just women doing the same type of projects. So there's some data out of that shows that, sometimes women just do better in a group of other women. They study better together. It's like a sisterhood. They help each other and they study together, and it's a good environment for them. So, and there wasn't a lot of programs like that out there. So first of all, like I said, I wanted to bust the myth. So I posted on social media and a post saying, I'm going to be starting, and that was in, I think, late 2018. I'm gonna start this program called 100 Women, 100 Days Cybersecurity Career Accelerator. It's gonna be a free education, and it's gonna be all female students. So this is what I wanna do in 2019. And so within the first hour, I had 60 emails in my inbox. How do I sign up? So, it made me feel so good, because I had a really good reason to say, then post a follow-up saying, look, I busted the myth. You told me, those of you who told me that women are not interested in cybersecurity, look at this. I mean, I have a proof that give them an hour, 60 minutes. And look, each minute I got an email from a lady out there that wanted to learn more about cybersecurity, and they were interested to be part of the program. So that was really, a happy result from from what, some may think, why are you so pushy and why you're trying to get women into cybersecurity? But at that time, I really didn't know how I'm going to fund this. I knew I wanted to have all female students. I wanted to create that environment, where they felt comfortable learning. I didn't have all the details of the curriculum worked out yet, but the biggest one, of course, was funding, because I wanted to be free for them. So I started to inquire about, how do I raise funding? I mean, because I haven't been in a fundraising before, so it was definitely something new to me. So I reached out to Craig Newmark, who is the founder of Craigslist. He's one of my connections on LinkedIn. And I say, Craig, I know you know a lot about this because you have a philanthropy organization, so I know where do I start? So I want to raise money for a female program, or for females that are interested in cybersecurity. So he said, tell me more. So we start talking through email for about 5 months. We were going back and forth, and we were refining the entire program. So basically, he wanted to see what happens, what's the curriculum, what measure of success is. He wanted to know what happens to them after they graduate. Is there going to be something for them? We don't just push them through the program or help them through the program, and then they're just on their own. So anyway, after 5 months, we did define the curriculum. We figure out what would be a good program. So he decided, I think this looks really good now. I want to give you money. So he put his own money into our program, and there we went off. So we got the money in May of 2019, and end of June, we started our first 100 Women, 100 Days Cybersecurity Career Accelerator, our first cohort. And it was amazing, and I'm so happy that we actually were able to do some of the classes in person, because we've done 2 more cohorts this year, but it was all online. So it was still missing some of that social aspect. It's just the whole different thing, being in a classroom. But we did the best we could, this in 2020. But yeah, so great results. A lot of those women are working in cybersecurity jobs now. Some have moved into entry-level IT jobs to gain more experience. But yeah, overall great results on the first cohort. We are preparing now the second 2 cohorts. This year, most of them are going through the remote internship right now, and we are connecting them with our partners to get them hired into the jobs. So yeah, I don't know. I'm just happy about being able to provide this kind of opportunity for this kind of program for our students, because there really isn't much of that type of programs out there right now. And yeah, I think if you listen, if you ask questions of any of the students, they will tell you their experience. We've had some of the interviews on the radio. We've published some articles too, if anybody's interested, where the students are sharing their experience. And hopefully we can continue, having this program run through 2021 and then continue for a while. One other thing that it's so if you think about, that was the program that we created because there was a need out there. There wasn't anything, and we are closing the gender gap in cybersecurity by graduating our students and helping them get into the cybersecurity field. But there was also a need for what Katie was mentioning before, creating role models. And that's why we started Cybersecure Women of the Year Awards. That was in the first year in 2019. This last 2020 was remote, or virtual. It wasn't as exciting gala as in person, but really what this is doing is connecting the dots, and it's supporting what we're trying to do with women, is to create those role models so other women can, from outside looking in, for girls any age, they can identify with themselves and they can see themselves being in the jobs, because all of these women are amazingly accomplished. They've done incredible work in cybersecurity, and they deserve to be awarded. So yeah, we've got those awards, but don't let me stop here, because we also have Ally of the Year awards, which was created for the reason of my experience getting into cybersecurity 20 plus something years back, and had those amazing mentors. It was so important. I am so appreciative of having that support, that community. Like I said, I would not stick it through if it wasn't for that support that I had, and that great work culture, because these guys knew how to keep me engaged, keep me interested in a job that it wasn't easy. There's a lot of technical aspects that are very easy, and you can get easily frustrated because they are technical and complex problems that you're solving, and you can get stuck. And when you get stuck, you do need to have that, great mentors and support around you. So with other words, Ally of the Year Awards is really for all of those programs, companies, nonprofits. We have media, we have recruiters, anyone who really is exhibiting the right behavior, where women are really feel supported. They feel like they have community that is there with them. So yeah. That's Ally of the Year Awards. And I've been talking forever and ever, so I'm happy to answer questions if you have any.
Thank you, Carmen. I think Katie and I attended the Ally of the Year Awards last year at RSA.
Yes, Katie was, she mentioned, I'm like, Katie, you seem so familiar to me. I don't know why. And I apologize if I didn't recognize you right away, but yeah, it's coming back. It's coming back to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we do have a few questions from our audience, and a couple from me as well. So you had mentioned that you'd worked in many different roles over the years. And in your bio, it says you currently work with risk assessments and audits and compliance. So along the way, has there been any like a thought in your mind that said, hey, you know what I would like? I would love to do risk assessments or audit and compliance. Has there been any moment like that?
Yes, I think, so here's the thing. I think that everything that I've done, every role, I think I mentioned it before, it's been super important to bring me to the point where I'm at. So I needed that technical background. I needed all that hands-on experience, super critical. But at the same time, I think as I mentioned, I did sort of migrated into management positions, executive positions, and I realized that as far as risk management, that's where it all starts. You need to understand your risks, and then you have all these different parts that behind you. So you have integrators, you have that technical expertise that actually can implement whatever you need, as long as you know what your risks are. And I did like that. I like evaluation. I like research. So yeah, I think it was more of just kind of sorting things through and say, okay, yeah, I've done this. I like it. I've done this. I like it. I really like this. And the reason why risk assessments too is because I realize, as being executive at different companies, is that a lot of times you are so unaware of all the risks. And you don't know what to do. I mean, I don't know who should there's so many different types of software out there. How am I going to know what to pick? How am I going to know what makes sense for the size of company? Because I work for small companies, large companies, it depends on what you do as a company, that it kind of, it kind of tells you how much to apply, right? How much technology, what type of software to apply, how big your team should be, and all those things. So, and a lot of executives just don't know that. So I'm like, okay, I really think that, I can help there because I've got the background in technology and I understand that. So bring this together and help now executives, bring that plan to them and say, okay, we've assessed all of these risks. I understand where you should be. And I will tell you, don't spend, $50,000 on this software. It's overkill because of the size of the company and what your type of business is. So I think I could just bring it all together for them. And so I just felt there was a need for it. And I felt I could bring all my experience and kind of bring it to the decision makers, right? Because decision makers are typically the executives, and to speak to them in a way, in a business language that they would understand. It was just a lot of times that's a missing link. You have super technical people, but they cannot have a conversation with executives. So in a nutshell, that's how I ended up in the risk management. And specific to the cybersecurity too. There's definitely a couple needs that, we are meeting here.
Awesome. So the program that you're doing, 100 Women in 100 Days Cybersecurity Career Accelerator program.
Yes.
That is an amazing thing you're doing. And we have a follow-up question to that. So
yes,
how do you think we can reach young girls and young women who have limited access to resources so that they can learn more about cybersecurity?
I think the similar program would be great to have, free of cost, and then have it in a way where it's you learning as you're having fun. I think that's really, it's super important thing that it's presented in a way where girls don't lose interest. That's what I was saying even before. I think it's good to find ways. There's a ways of games. There's a ways of projects they can work on and then present and make it really engaging. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do very similar to our program for 100 Women, 100 Days. I'll tell you the difference between our program and some of the other programs is also that we bring people that are in the field that do the workshops for our women. So they really are sharing their expertise, and they employ them, they engage them on their projects. So basically they are working together with somebody who's already on the job doing those kind of projects, right? So it's not from theory perspective, it's really hands-on. So I think that would be the same thing for the girls. Find those fun projects and then bring, experts from the field, directly fresh from the field, and to work with girls. That would work, I think.
Okay. We do have a few more questions, but unfortunately we're out of time. So I will close the Q&A with one last question. What advice do you have for the young people that are watching the session right now?
Never stop, never be afraid to ask questions. And that's it comes up quite often, and I think I always end up with this one. I don't know why, but it's it's one of those things. Stay curious. Always ask questions. There's no dumb questions, and that's how you learn the most. Just feel free, be confident, ask questions, because the answer may open another question, and that's how you learn. And then you get another answer, and this is really how you explore. And communicate. You build relationships that way too, because when you show they're curious about something, people will respond well. They will really like that you're interested in them and what they're doing and their projects or whatever. So ask tons of questions.
I love that. And I think you have proven that asking questions works by just your statement you made earlier, that you busted the myth of that women were interested in learning cybersecurity. So thank you. I am going to launch a quick poll over the conversation just so we can learn a little bit about the people who are watching. So please, if you can, respond to the questions that you'll see there. I do want to remind everybody that this will be posted to our YouTube channel. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you can find by going to YouTube and searching for CybHER. You can also get more information on our upcoming programs and upcoming conversations by going to our website at cyber.org, as well as following us on social media, because we are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So please follow us there and share with all of your friends and family so that they too can learn about our programs. I also want to invite you all back next week when we have Marseille Bryant-Omosor, who is a software engineer and CEO and founder of Cyberbit's Lead Exec, a nonprofit organization. So it's going to be great to hear from somebody who's really technical in the field next week. So please come back and join us. Carmen, thank you again for being our featured speaker this week. We are so grateful for your participation in our programs and helping to inspire the future of cybersecurity. So everybody have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you again next